Hello everybody and welcome to episode 18 of the podcast. The first step is admitting you have a problem. Today is Sunday the 22nd of June and coming up in the show we're going to have some news from around the knitty world, the latest offerings from the Golden Skein and an update of the projects since the last episode. Hello again, you fine people. I hope you've all been having a wonderful time since the last time I spoke to you, which wasn't that long ago. Maybe I'm actually going to get 2 podcasts in a month for once. First time ever, perhaps. A warm welcome to any new listeners that might have joined us this time. And as always, a very hearty and squishy hug for any returning listeners. It's always lovely to have you here with me. Today has been a lovely day in the Kingdom of Fife, my new home for now. And I thought I would do something a little bit different today, which may not be immediately obvious because I do have quite a freestyle technique anyway on the podcast, but I've decided that I'm not going to write any notes at all. I'm just going to talk to you and we'll see how that goes for a change. I'm in a bit of a pensive mood and I've got some things to share with you, and I just thought, you know what, I'm just not going to write any notes. I'm a rebel. I'm just going to go for it, do it all off the bat. So that's what I'm going to do. So it won't be necessarily the exact usual format, but you know what, it's cool. Let's just roll with the punches. So first things first, haggis pakora. Apparently it's a thing. I got a tweet from Louise from Caithness Craft Collective podcast, and they have it in Caithness, so it must be a thing. Again, I've not really quite got round to trying it. However, I might have to do so in the interests of science, really, so that you all know about it. Other than that, I've not come across any crazy sort of Scottish cuisine since the last time I spoke to you. I did go and venture out to the St Andrews Brewing Company with a pal of mine to try some local craft beers and some beers from abroad. It's a little pub in St Andrews that is like a craft beer place. Really confusing because they don't sell things in half pints and full pints. They sell it in third pints, 2/3 pints, and that's it. So you have either a little wee glass or a really wee glass, which is fine because I'm only 5'3", so I look a little bit silly with anything bigger than a half pint glass anyway. So we went and tried there and tried a few different brews that they had on. I've also been across to the Eden Brewery, which is a very local brewery. It's just around the corner from my house, and picked up a couple of bottles of bottle conditioned ales from them. I've got a porter and I think the other one is a ruby, so I'll be trying those out and letting you know what I think. I am a bit into kind of craft beers as well, not just wine and gin, and I don't just spend all my time drunk either, but there's been quite a resurgence in the kind of craft brewing scene over the last few years in the UK especially, and there's lots of little microbreweries that are now around that just offer you something a little bit different. I don't think real ale is just for, in the same way that knitting isn't for nanas, real ale isn't just for kind of strange folk with beards in anoraks or people in very black t-shirts with dubious hygiene practices. There's actually something for everyone these days. It's not just a case of drinking flat beer, as we say up north. There's this perception that all southern beer particularly is flat, and it's just not really how it is, but at least not anymore anyway. So that's been quite good. It's my latest local adventure, at least. I will also do a review that I didn't mention in the intro because I'm freestyling, of Ginger Twist Studios in the yarn shop review section, which again will be freestyle. They had their Edinburgh yarn crawl yesterday. I've seen some of the pictures on Twitter and I'm sure some of you guys will have too. They had over 125 people there, so I think that probably was a great atmosphere and quite a good laugh. Lots of people to meet. She had Susan Crawford in her shop because she's carrying Susan Crawford's line of yarns, which very much fit in with her sort of style and aesthetic. But again, that will be covered a little bit later. But it seemed like a good day was had by all, so I was really pleased to hear that had gone so well, because unfortunately I wasn't able to attend because I'm on solo parent operations at the moment, as my beloved husband is over in South Africa doing a handover to the next person that's going into his previous job, which was bad enough as it was, but when he keeps WhatsApping me pictures of the various steaks that he's eating and all of our old hangouts and haunts, and I'm stuck at home and there are Thomas trains and wooden blocks all over the floor and half-chewed crayons, he's not helping himself at all. If he doesn't bring me something really big and sparkly or really big and woolly home, I'm going to be really disappointed. However, I am escaping next Saturday. He's coming back on Friday. I'm escaping next Saturday, and I'm going over to Glasgow for a lovely yarny day out. So hopefully that again will provide some more ammunition for the yarn shop reviews and something else different to talk about, which I think will be quite good. In other news, I'm sure if you've listened to her latest podcast, you will have heard that the lovely, I love this girl, I could just squeeze her until she snapped, Amy from Knit Spin Cake is going to be opening a yarn shop. If you haven't listened to her latest episode, it's episode 21, it's the one with the big reveal, and she's just having a quick chat about her latest plans and how everything's going for that. And oh bless her, she gave me a shout out for it, because I apparently I enabled her into it, and it's turning into a bit of a theme, this enabling, not just in the yarny stakes either, but I'm really glad that she's found what she was kind of looking for, and she's going to be opening her yarn shop, because she's not had the easiest of times recently, as she fully says herself, and I'm really, really pleased, because she's such a nice person that it's all coming together for her, and it's a brilliant excuse to go over there and check out a new yarn shop and purchase some of her wares. It sounds like she's going to have some really nice stuff in there, and something a little bit different from your usual big box things, and there'll be lots of workshops as well. Everyone loves a good workshop, and it's at the seaside, and there's an ice cream shop, so pretty much sold as far as I'm concerned. That's going to be opening in mid to late July, but you can follow progress on that on Twitter. They're at Harbour Yrans, because her whole shop is it's on a harbour, and at the seaside it's all going to be based themed around the seaside theme, so I think it could be quite nice, quite exciting times for her. So go and give them a follow of Twitter and do your usual supportive things that I know you always do. And the best of luck to you, Amy, because I know you listen to my podcast. That sounds so rock and roll. It's like, yeah, I have riders and everything. Well, no, I just have 2 pointless dogs. The very best of luck to you, my friend, on the opening of your new business. I'm sure it's going to be extremely successful, and we all look forward to coming to check it out. In other news, and I'm sure unless you've been hiding under a rock, you will already know about this, it is Unwind Brighton on the 12th to the 13th of July this year in Brighton. I like Brighton. I got married in Brighton. My husband lived in Brighton for about 16 years. His parents lived there for 16 years. He went off to work and moved away, but they lived there for a long time, and they now live in Lewis, so I will be attending. It's shaping up to be a really interesting event. They've got the marketplace, they've got loads of classes booked, and Kingston's just opened an overfull class for her stranded knits class. I really wish I could go to that, but I've actually got loads of stuff planned for that day, so I can't go, unfortunately, to that. But if you want to go to her class and missed out, be quick, because I think there are still a couple of places available. There's going to be a podcaster meetup at 1:00 above the mezzanine. I keep saying above the mezzanine. I've heard it on loads of podcasts, so if that's going in my head, it must be right. And there'll be lots of different podcasters there. We're not all just meeting each other. We're just there, and everyone else who wants to come and meet up and say hello is more than welcome. It would be lovely to meet any listeners that are going face to face, and do feel free to post in the Ravelry group for the Shining Bees podcast if you are going, so I can have a little nosy at who I might see there. It was really weird when I went to Fibre East last year because I met some people that I didn't know that listened to my podcast, and I was just like, unlike me, because I'm not like this at all in real life, I was just really shy and awkward and just kind of like looking around going, oh, hi, because I was really embarrassed that someone actually listened to my podcast. And the lady was really nice, but I was just proper like awkward. Hopefully I won't be like that this time. I'm not normally an awkward person, but sorry, you know who you are. I was awkward and a little bit weird. I was a bit shell shocked, to be honest. It was really hot and we had a small child with us, so it was a bit crazy. And I'd just moved back from Africa like a day or two before, so I have excuses. So yeah, come along and say hello at 1 o'clock, and come and meet all the other different podcasters and all the other people you speak to on Ravelry. I think it'd be really nice. There is also going to be a party at night. I'm not sure if I've been given a pink chit to attend the party yet, because I'm going on Saturday and Sunday. I'm not sure if it will be taking the mick a little bit to go to the party as well. Not that ever normally bothers me, but you know, you kind of have to show a little bit of willing. So I'll let you know if I do decide to go to the party as well. I might just get swept up in all the fun, in all honesty. And on the Sunday, I am planning to help out on the P-hop stall in the morning with, I think Amy wants to come help out at the same time, so there'll be lots of giggling and laughing and everything else in the morning. Kate, who runs, is the P-hop coordinator, isn't actually able to attend Unwind Brighton, so unfortunately she won't be there, but they are looking for volunteers to help man the stall. I've done it before, did it at Harbour Yrans. It's really good fun. You just get to chat to loads of like knitters and explain the concept of P-hop. You can do as much or as little time as you like, but any and all help would be appreciated. So if you are interested in volunteering to help on the P-hop stall for an hour or two at any point during the weekend, please do get in touch and let me know, and I will pass on your details to Kate. It would be much appreciated. And it's a great money earner for Médecins Sans Frontières. So get in there, spread the love, meet some knitters, be cool. That's all I have in the news section for now that I can remember from the top of my head without pausing and thinking, because I'm just going out there and doing it. So what we'll do is we'll move on to the next section and discuss the latest offerings from the Golden Skein. So, as usual, I thought I would run through the latest offerings from the latest club of the Golden Skein for those of you that aren't in the club, because it might give you some ideas for nice indie dyes for you to go and check out, some nice bases for you to go and check out, and we can share the love. If you would like to join the group on Ravelry, please feel free to come and join. You don't need to be a member of or subscriber of the club to join our Ravelry group, and there are loads of people over there with lots and lots of great ideas. Really collaborative group, everyone's really friendly and helpful, and people are making some amazing projects with their yarn. I'm getting lots and lots of ideas from that, so please feel free to come over and just have a mooch, and you can release your own golden skeins from their incarceration in your stash and hopefully replace them with some new ones. Lots of yarn shows coming up, you're going to need some space. So, this quarter was the summer quarter that was just delivered. I sent it out a little bit early because I was going up north for an interview for a job, which I didn't get. But that's fine, because lots and lots of other opportunities have come to the fore since then that make me think, actually, this is the way. I'm going to take the African approach. So I decided to post out the club a little bit earlier. Normally we post it out on set days, and it was meant to go out on the 2nd of June, but it went out at the end of May instead, because I didn't want the stress of having to trail 140 miles for an interview with 2 small children, not the dogs this time luckily, but the children are worse, quite frankly, and go and do this interview. So the parcels went out early, and which was a nice surprise for the subscribers. There was a lot of oohing and ahhing, like, oh, it's here already. Oh my god, it's here already. I'm so excited. So yeah, that was good. And the post lady very much liked the gold bags, as usual. It's a new post lady because the last time I sent it out, I didn't live here. I lived in one of my other houses. So she was absolutely lovely. And it seems to have been very well received. Again, if you've listened to the latest episode of Amy's podcast, Knit Spin Cake, she talks about a shawl that she's just banged out in about 10 days in one of the yarns already, and it is beautiful. She did the Boo Knits Dragonfly shawl, which is a free pattern, and it's got a few beads in it as well. It's beautiful, really, really lovely. So we will talk about the yarns in the order that I think of them, and I'll let you know the details. I do know all of this off by heart because I've said it so many times recently. But the first one we'll kick off with is the one that Amy did the Dragonfly shawl in, which is Ginger's hand dyed, and the base is Sturdy Splendour, which is a 75% organic merino, 25% A1 mulberry silk blend, and it is hand dyed by Ginger, aka Jess from Ginger Twist Studios in Edinburgh, and I will review her yarn shop, seeing as it's a nice segue there towards the end of this episode. This colourway was dyed to the inspiration picture Fruits of Summer by Lorna Rand, as were the other two colourways that I'm going to mention, and Jess decided to do it in a really kind of tonal, really juicy berry pinks and raspberries and plummy shades throughout the skein. This stuff is lovely, and it is a really plump twist. It is a 4-ply yarn, but it's 366 meters to 100 grams. Although it's a 4-ply, it does sort of come out like, or feel a bit more like a DK. Sorry about that. I obviously have been talking too much today. It's come out like a DK, and I love this base in particular, because when I look at it, it makes me feel like I've got a mouth full of flumps. You know, that kind of squishy Chubby Bunnies feeling. This is Chubby Bunny yarn. It's absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to see how, once it's knitted, it blooms and poofs out once it's actually been blocked and soaked. It is lovely. The only project so far in it has been Amy's one. I'll share some other projects in a few weeks when people have had a chance to look at it. I think it wants to be something around the neck, possibly a cowl, but I'm not 100% sure at the moment, because the beast absolutely loved this skein, and she kept kind of going to the box and picking loads of them up and running off with them to her Wendy house. She didn't contaminate them in any way, I will add at this point. I was very careful to check that they weren't contaminated afterwards, and she was just obsessed with this one. She actually helped a lot with the packing up, and I was showing her how to do it, because I thought, I'm not going to be able to do all this packing up with her sort of in the way, so I'm going to have to enlist her help and give her an important job to do. And she was, after showing her one of them, she was like, no, they've got to go in this order, mummy, and I've got to stick the sticker on, so it looks like I'm half cut when I've wrapped these up, because the stickers are quite wonky when all the things wrap together and you sticker it down. So this was definitely her favourite, at least, and it has been a favourite of quite a few other people as well. And that is, as I say, it's the Ginger Twist Studios Ginger's hand dyed Sturdy Splendour base, and that was in the colourway Samra, I think is how you pronounce it, which means summer in Gaelic. Excuse my Gaelic, I've not plunged into learning Gaelic yet. So that was the first one. The second one was dyed by Desert Vista Dye Works, who are from Arizona in the United States. This one was called the Fruits of Summer, and it was dyed onto the Viso base that Susan from Desert Vista uses, which is a standard sock, sort of 75% merino, 25% nylon, standard sort of sock base. It was a 7-colour repeat, I think. I'm looking for my socks. 7-colour self-stripe in sort of purples, blueberries. There's one yellow stripe through it. There's a kind of coral stripe in it as well. And I'm knitting a pair of the vanilla socks that I mentioned in the last episode. That's in that base, and it's really addictive, really good fun. All self-stripe is. I absolutely love self-stripe. If I could just do a self-stripe club and not have anything else, then I would. I'd be quite happy just knitting self-stripe for my entire life. I love it. This is quite a fun one. It's a very blocky self-stripe. Most of the self-stripe stuff I use tends to be a bit more gradient dye self-stripe, but this is cool. I like it. I like it a lot. So that was her, and she kind of specialises in self-stripe and gradient yarns, hence the self-stripe choice for this particular one. One of the people in the club is doing a endless rainbow in this, and combining this one with the Yarn Garden Manor Ash colourway from the last club, the Tornado over London one. So it's a kind of grey, light grey, kind of silvery versus this really bright self-stripe, and each kind of little line and the little triangle on the end is coming out in a different colour so far. It looks really good, so that's quite exciting. We're good to see how that turns out. And the final one, which has caused a lot of oohs and ahs, was a Sparkle Duck one, and we got Sparkle Duck in again this time because it was a brand new base that she'd introduced, and her last colourway she did for us was extremely popular. She does dye beautifully, really moody colourways that are just really tonal, and there's so many kind of facets to the colourways when you look at them, and then you just sit there with the skein and kind of turn it round in your hand and just see all the different tones come out. She just dyes beautifully, and we both love her dyeing, so the opportunity to get her to dye and a new base was just one that we felt we had to get in there, and this one was gorgeous. I just want to eat it. It's just lovely. Again, there's not been a project in this yet, but there's been several ideas for them, and actually I don't think we've even got any of it left anymore. I think it's all gone now. But it was a 60% merino, 20% silk and 20% yak base. I've never knitted with yak before, but apparently it has quite similar properties to merino, except that it is more water absorbent and warmer than merino. So that's an interesting one. This again is about 360 metres to 100 grams, but it is nowhere near as flumpy as the Ginger Twist Studio Sturdy Splendor is. It's very kind of much more tightly spun, and like the gauge of the yarn, if you look at it, is much finer, which suggests to me that the yak must be heavier, I guess. Maybe I'll have to look that up in a bit more detail. It's quite hard to find information on yak, to be honest. But yeah, it'd be very interesting to see how that comes out. I think it probably is sturdy enough to make socks with, and I think it would make some really interesting lace shawls too, perhaps. So I'll let you know about that once I've knitted with it, because it's my first time with yak, so an interesting one. So that was my rundown of the 3 dyes for this quarter from the Golden Skeins Power of 3 / Slimmers Club. We are going to be opening the sign-ups for the next quarter soon, and we've got some really exciting dyers lined up for the next 2 quarters that I can't wait to show you and tell you about. And it's quite a privilege to work with these dyers on the project, so it's really exciting times for us over there. Hopefully the plan is to get some of the other clubs launched relatively soon, so watch this space for more information on that. But the sign-ups for the next quarter will open on the 1st of July or sooner than that, and if it is going to be sooner, then it will be announced on the Facebook page and Twitter page. We're on Instagram, all as the Golden Skein, and Pinterest. So, or you'll find out about it in the Golden Skein Ravelry group. But it will all be publicised if we open it beforehand, because I don't know. I just feel like sharing the love and opening it early, frankly, because we sent it out early. So it'd be quite cool just to get it out there. Bit of excitement. Prior to everyone going off to the yarn shows, and England are out of the World Cup now, and everyone is cheering up. So sod it, I might just open it tonight. Shall I do that? Yeah, I'm just going to open it tonight. Actually, yeah, consider it open. Go and sign up now if you want to sign up and join us. And if you don't want to be a subscriber but you want to come and get some ideas and join in with the chit chat, we're over on Ravelry at the Golden Skein. So, as promised, we'll have a lovely little yarn shop review. And this week it's going to be Ginger Twist Studios, which is a yarn shop in Edinburgh. It is run by the fabulous, and she is utterly fabulous, Jessica James, who is an American living in Edinburgh. and she opened a shop just over a year ago. It was Ginger Twist's first birthday, literally a couple of days ago, and it is on the London Road in Edinburgh. So it's about a 10-minute walk maybe from Waverley, depending on how fast you walk, 15 minutes at the outside. But there are buses that run down that you can get on, but it's almost not worth getting the bus, because by the time you've walked to get the place to get the bus, you're halfway there, and you just go sort of out of it, Waverley, past sort of John Lewis and down past the Glass House, and then the London Road is on your right down there, and you just go down there, and it's on the left down at the bottom of London Road. Well, not the bottom, just as you go along. It is run by Jess, who is utterly fabulous, and she is very sort of utterly vintage style amazing. She's got lovely red hair that's really, it sounds like I'm in love with her, but I'm not. She's just really awesome. She's got this awesome red hair, curly red hair, and she wears like kind of like 1950s glasses, and just looks really like vintage glam and effortless all the time. And she's always really cheerful, which helps when you're running a yarn store. And she's got this little bijou, lovely yarn shop on the London Road. She stocks quite a wide range of notions and yarn. Obviously, she does her own range of Ginger's hand dyed, which comes in a variety of bases, and this is hung on the left hand side as you go in to her shop. It's hung along that side, and it's all loose, so you can kind of go in and stick your fingers in it and really have a look at it instead of it being skeined up. And it's like a big beautiful rainbow down the left hand side of the shop, and she's got a few different bases that she dyes on. And there was one in particular that was quite popular in a colourway. It was, I think it was a high twist base. It was 100% merino base. I bought some for a swap for someone in the Caithness Craft Collective's 100 episode birthday 100 gram yarn swap. So I bought some for my swap partner who was in Denmark, and it turned out that someone else bought the exact same colourway for Nick from Yarns from the Plain podcast. For her swap, and it was really beautiful. It's called the Witching Hour, I think it was called. It was a really deep kind of purple, again another quite moody colourway. It was really lovely. And she also stocks quite a wide range of other yarns at quite reasonable price points, really. She has West Yorkshire Spinners, she has Brigantia, she has some other local hand dyed yarns. I think the Martha's yarns from memory. She also has some cashmere from Afghanistan. She stocks Exalana, and she also carries a range of notions. So she has lots of little teeny weeny kind of stitch markers, and I think they're from Fripperies and Bibelo, but I might be making that up. I might be confusing my yarn shops now. And she stocks higher needles as well. So she's got quite a good range of different stuff to go at. Her shop is, I suppose it's like, in London it would probably be a mansion, but it is quite bijou. It is small but perfectly formed, like Kylie. I'll steal that from Karina Westerman, but she's definitely small but perfectly formed, this shop, and it's a real pleasure to go into. I know Claire Devine sort of hangs out in there a lot. She actually provides quite a lot of workshops for Jessica, and there's another lady that does workshops there as well that you can attend. And it's just the kind of place that you want to go into and sit down and chat to Jess about. She always offers you a cup of tea on lovely vintage china, of course, because it's just lovely. I'd go and sit in there every day if I could, but it's an hour away on the train, so it's not really practical, but that's probably a good thing, in all honesty. But I think if you want, kind of something with that definite vintage feel to it, and she stocks, I'm trying to think, what's her name? Susan Crawford. I think she has some of her books. I think she stocks Tin Can Knits books as well. So there's kind of quite a wide range of things to go at, but it's definitely worth going to if you are in the vicinity. It is a bijou shop. It is quite small, but she's made excellent use of space in there, and everything in there is of value. It's stuff you want to look at and touch, unlike some yarn stores where you go in and it's just wall-to-wall Serdar. And I do not oppose Serdar at all, but I tend to find that the big box names don't inspire me the same ways that unusual things that you don't get everywhere do. I think I might be a convert to the Brigantia as well. It is really lovely. So I would recommend wholeheartedly that you go and check it out. There are also some other little cute establishments in the vicinity that are worth checking out if you're going down there to make it doubly worth your while. There is an artisan chocolate makers, either next door or 2 doors down, that make handmade chocolates, and around the corner there is the Manor House Bakery, who make lovely baked goods. So you could go down there, have a cup of tea with Jess, get yourself some chockies, get yourself some lovely artisan bread, and then trot off back up to Edinburgh. So that was my opinion yarn shop review on Ginger Twist Studios, which is on the London Road in Edinburgh. So on to the Wippin Piccadilly section. Obviously I spoke at length last time about being in a funk, slam dunk the funk of 40,000 years. This is the house that funk built, Groove Armada style. Yeah, funky, funk. But I'm pleased to report that I'm no longer in a funk. And thank you to everyone that sent messages of tips and ideas to get you out of the funk. Some of which I will share with you now in case you're also in a knitty funk. I think people seem to be coming out of it again now, from what I'm hearing. But it is difficult when you're there, when you're in the mire and you can't really get out. It was suggested by Louise Scully of the Knit British podcast, which if you don't listen to, you really ought to, that I ought to get all my whips together and just have a look at them, and if I don't absolutely love it, just frog it. This sounds like a really good idea, and there is definitely one that I want to frog, and it is the Kebner Kaiser socks. I just don't love it. I love the yarn, I love the pattern. It reminds me of being in Africa and knitting these socks and it being really great. And the yarn's really nice. It's these really autumnal shades and it's pretty. I've looked on my project page. It is pretty. But I don't know. I just don't love it. I just don't. And this will be the second time I've frogged this particular yarn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it free. I don't want to frog it again. I don't. And I just think I'm picking the wrong things for it. And it is really pretty and I do really like it. But I just think it needs to be released because I'm cocking it up. If you love something, let it go. So I'm going to let it go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to frog it and I'm going to rewind the ball with my little Swift and stuff and I'm going to give it away to one of the listeners. So what I'm going to do is I will put up the thread, and when I open the thread for this, if you would like to win the yarn, it is a Nurturing Fibres Super Twist sock, and it was gifted to me in a swap, and I really love it, and I feel really bad that I've not really managed to fulfil it, but I just think I need to stop abusing it now. So I'm going to give it away to someone. It's still in absolutely fine condition to knit with. It just needs some, and it's only been a quarter of it, not even a quarter of it's been knitted anyway. It's probably about 10 grams, and then re-knit again. So if you would like to rehome this for me and give it the home that it deserves, then leave a comment on the thread for this episode and just say what you would make with it. I'll do a random draw, random number generator at the end of next time I do a podcast, I'll just announce the winner, so it could be a surprise. Get in there quick while you can. That's all I'm going to say. Probably about 2 weeks actually, definitely the next month. But yeah, get in there. Just leave a note to say what you would make with it, so we can get some ideas as well for making things with one skein. And I'll do a random number generator and we'll give it away. We'll free the skein. So yeah, that's a good tip. If have a look at your whips. If there's too many of them, get them out, give them a good auditing, and if you don't love it, get rid. So that's what I'm going to do. But I'm more releasing than getting rid. So I've done that, and the other thing I did was just have a prioritise while they were all out, and I was like, you know what, there are lots of projects here and I do like to jump between all of them, but I'm getting a little bit tired of it taking me forever to knit projects, because I just cast something else on, do a few rows and then get distracted again. And what I need to do is be a little bit more militant. So I looked at my whips and I was like, right, the Guardian Angel shawl needs to be finished by last Tuesday gone. So I'm going to have to work on this because there is a deadline associated with this. And it's been on the needles for nearly a year, so it needs to be done. So I decided to take it out to Fluff, my local yarn shop / second home. And that's in Dundee. And I'm just going to knit on it there. So I took it out and went to see Leona and did some knitting on it there. And chat to her about some business stuff, you know, and how things were going, blah, blah, blah. Did loads of knitting on it there, got round past the halfway mark, and obviously I said last time I was doing making myself do a couple of cables every night to get round it. I also took it to the Worldwide Knitting Public Week event that was held at Fluff, which was a picnic, and did some work on it there. And actually that night, because I got so far through it, I managed to finish the cable, and it was meant to go to Africa on Tuesday, but obviously by the fact I've said it was meant to means it didn't go because it isn't finished. There are numerous reasons why not, but I'm in the middle of picking up all the stitches around the cable. The pattern is the Guardian Angel pattern by Sally Cameron. Sally, please don't do me any more patterns that involve me picking up things along a cable. It's really fiddly. There are excellent instructions on the pattern. It's very detailed, but you're not getting away from it. If you're picking up 300 stitches around a cable, it is going to be a pain in the hoop. So yeah, I'm halfway around to that, and I'm going to press on with that and get it finished, and then I'm just going to either post it over or see if there's one of the South African knitters has got someone coming back and forth or something to keep it safe, really, when it goes over there. So that is progressing again, at least, and I'm kind of back in the swing with that. And I know once I've picked up these things, everything else is going to seem really easy. Even the nups for the angels' heads around the outside are going to be easy. So I'm the nup queen. I've done damask. It might have taken me a year and a half, but I've done a lot of nups, so I reckon I can smash this. It'll be fine. So that was another option. Go and remove yourself from the situation and take yourself somewhere else, so you're not concentrating on the fact that you're not. It's really annoying you having to do these irrational annoyance at having to do these cables. So I'll count that as well as the update for the Guardian Angel shawl while we're there. And the other thing that I found quite helpful is and this is where the title of the story came from, the first step is admitting you have a problem. And I think just owning up and saying, look, I'm in a funk and I don't know what to do and I'm just cocking it up, was quite liberating. And it just freed the guilt of having these whips. And I just thought, well, it's not just me, loads of people have this, and actually they've given me loads of good ideas to get rid of this funk. And you know what, now that I've admitted I'm in a funk, I feel a lot better. Now that I've admitted to the whole world, it's actually not that bad. I feel like I can move on and let it go. So that's what I've done. So I've also done some knitting on my vanilla stripy socks, the Desert Vista socks. I'm doing a afterthought heel. It's my first crack at afterthought heels, and I've finished one entire one and grafted the toe, but I've not unpicked the heel and tried that yet because I was really close to changing colours for it to be matchy. So I decided to cast on again so that I wouldn't waste a lot of yarn at the beginning. Perhaps, if it ended up being halfway through like a repeat of the colours, I would potentially be wasting quite a bit of yarn. So I decided to leave it and just cast on so there's 2 done tubes, and then I can do both of the heels at once, and hopefully they'll be reasonably quick once all the other knitting is done. As I said, the first one is done, the second one I'm about halfway down the leg. But here is the cautionary tale. Don't cast on when one of your bestest favourite friends has come to visit. It is my friend, the tight Yorkshire one from the last episode. And I know she doesn't listen to my podcast because she didn't pull me up on it when she got here, and I'm like, I called you like a tight Yorkshire person on the last podcast and told everyone how you hide under like a mound of blankets. And she was like, no, there's only me in the house, me. And I'm like, yeah, but me, you don't listen to my podcast, clearly, cow. So maybe she's listening to, well, she can't listen to this one now because her iPhone broke when she was here, so I felt at least a little bit vindicated that I've got a BlackBerry and I might be on third world technology, but at least mine still works, vaguely. Whereas hers doesn't even, the battery won't charge, so that's a bit of a nightmare for her. But yeah, I cast on. She's learning how to do socks. She's a knitter as well, and I cast on while talking to her. And for some unknown reason, decided that instead of doing 2x2 rib for the cuff like I did with the other one, I'd do 1x1 rib, because that's good, isn't it? That's easier than 2x2 rib. And I didn't notice till I'd done about 2 inches on the ordinary stocking stitch body, which is testament really to the quality of conversation and possibly the amount of wine we were having. But I was just like, you know what, I've done so much on it, I'm not even going to bother, because every time I put these socks on and they don't match, I'm not going to get a massive OCD fit on. I'm just going to go, oh, I knitted these that time that Kate came today, and yeah, you remember we had so much fun and drinking so much wine and champagne that I just completely did the wrong stitch. So yeah, she had a little incident with her. She's learning DPNs, and she just pulled the wrong one out and dropped all the stitches and was just panicking because she'd already had a couple of glasses of wine. Didn't feel up to the job of picking up the stitches, but I managed that like a boss. So yeah, like I said, you kind of know about it because you knew about it from the last podcast. We're going to have the matching monkey socks, and I gently suggested that maybe she could knit my monkey socks and I'll knit hers, but she wasn't up for that idea. Funny old thing, she doesn't quite feel up to it yet. But yeah, unfortunately she left today, which probably means that I'll end up working in the evenings instead of just knitting and talking. But yeah, the yarn is very, very good fun to knit with. It's very good fun on the colour changes, and it's just an ordinary 64 stitch, decreasing down to 20 stitches at the toes, and it's going to be an afterthought heel. So I will let you know my thoughts on afterthoughts. Once I've actually done those heels for that one. And otherwise, in the knitting, I haven't picked up any of the other projects because I'm trying to be disciplined. I'm always really jealous of TGSK and how she manages to finish projects, and that is because she can only do one at a time. She's one of these people where she has to cast on and knit to the end, and it's only if something drastic happens, like you wet blocking your water lily top, that she can actually change to another yarn, which I think is really weird and funny. And I asked her to cast on the socks in the stripy yarn to check something for me, and she's like, I can't cast on, I'm in the middle of my water lily top, I can probably cast on next weekend. And I was just like, I can't believe you like worked out how long it's going to be and you won't cast on the stripy yarn. It's so OCD. It's really funny because we're completely opposite, so it works really well in terms of getting the business stuff done. But I do rip her a little bit for being an OCD yarn freak, and she rips me a little bit for being a OCD whip freak and having a million different whips and just buying more needles to put the whips on rather than finishing something. So yes, I haven't done anything else. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm going to finish both of these projects before I even look at anything else, and I think that's a big commitment for me, to be honest with you. However, in the wings, waiting, I have planned an in threes baby cardigan for my friend who is having a little baby. She's having a girl, so I'm making her a cardigan in petrol blue and gold because that's how we roll. Her the little girl not to be, she clearly is there, just not born yet. Her big sister has got quite dark hair and dark eyes, and she wears a lot of kind of mustardy, goldy shades and a lot of blue, and it really suits her. So I thought, I'll roll with that. You know, it doesn't matter. Blue is not just for boys. Don't get me started on gender stereotyping. So it's a nice petrol-y Prussian blue and a really rich kind of like old gold / mustardy yarn. I just went for ordinary drops. I think it is Alaska, perhaps, that I went for, but I got them from Fluff, and I decided I was going to get 1 ball of the gold and then 4 of the blue, and I went for a DK because it was superwash, and it's meant to be in worsted weight, this pattern, but I went for DK because it wasn't superwash, and I don't want to kind of stress out a mum who's already got like an 18-month-old. So I'm going to just knit a couple of sizes bigger. I'm not even going to gauge it or anything or try and substitute properly. I'm just going to knit a couple of sizes bigger, and it's on DK, and I'll probably adjust the needle size a bit, and it'll fit her at some point, because she's just a baby. She's not going to be that bothered, and it's quite a free-form cardigan. It's quite loose, and it's just got little sleeves and 3 little buttons at the top. I think it's done by Kelly on the net from memory, but I will link to it properly in the show notes. It's always in the kind of top 20 or top 40 on Ravelry, so you'll easily be able to find it, and it's called the In Threes Baby Cardigan. So that's my next kind of fantasy knit. Obviously I've still got the fantasy knit for the Boo Knit shawl as well, but I thought, well, if I kind of key them up but don't cast them on, I'm not going to add to the whips, but I can kind of live vicariously. So that's what I'm doing. So that will be my treat for completing 2 projects. I'm then allowed to cast on this one and knit it all to the end. So I'm going to do a Kate on the next one. I'm going to cast it on and knit it to the end, because the baby is going to come sometime in the next 2 to 7 weeks. It will definitely be then, because she's quite a wee baby, so she might have to come out of the sunroof a little bit early, which means it could be potentially only 2 weeks till she gets here. And it is summer, but it is Scotland, so she might need a little cardigan. So there's a bit of time pressure there. We'll see how that works out, but I'll give you more details on whether I've managed to cast that on in the next podcast. Well, considering this was going to be a quick 20 to 25 minute podcast, just a quick filler podcast till the next big one, it's turned out to be another epic. I don't think I can talk for less than 50 minutes on a podcast. It's crazy. So I'm going to wrap it up there. But I would like to thank all of you for joining me this episode. I hope you've enjoyed the very much more freestyle than usual way that I've done the podcast this time. But I just thought, you know what? Done is better than perfect, so we'll just go for it, and we'll crank it out, and we'll see how we go on with that. So I hope that has been to your satisfaction. I'd like to wish you all a great week, happy crafting, and speak to you all again soon. Bye! Thank you for listening to the Shiny Bees podcast. Show notes for this episode can be found on the blog at www.shinybees.com. Music used in this episode is by Adam and the Waterboys, and it's I Need a Drink, available via Musical.ly.
It's alright. I feel a need to laugh again with you, if that's alright.